Hey folks, David Stewart here. So the eShop for the Nintendo Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS is going offline this week. So after this week, you won't be able to buy any new games on the eShop for these two consoles from 2012 and 2011 respectively. I'm here to tell you there's no need to panic. YouTube right now is full of people telling you what games you need to buy, what must-have experiences you need to acquire off the eShop before it closes forever. I'm going to walk back that fear of missing out, which I'm sure is great for clicks, and just tell you that you don't need to panic just yet. And there are three big reasons. Number one, these are physical consoles and they play physical media. Number two, they are very easily hackable. And number three, you probably already had the experiences on these consoles that really mattered to you, and you're probably not actually missing out on that much. So let me go through each of those. First of all, these are physical consoles, and it's very apparent with, say, like the Wii U, that Nintendo did not intend for this to be a digital-only console or to have a strong emphasis on digital play. The online support was fairly weak compared to like Xbox and PlayStation. And because it came out at the end of that Generation 7, I think, or Generation 6 life cycle, right before the PS4, they were still operating on the physical media space. And in fact, Nintendo Switch still operates on that, and I really appreciate that. So when you buy a physical copy of a Wii U game, you're really getting the game. The whole game is on here, and it's playable right off the disc. Some of these do have updates, but you will be able to acquire those updates for at least a while if you buy the physical version of the disc. This thing only shipped with 8 gigabytes of storage for the regular version. I had the deluxe version, which has 32 gigs of storage. That's not a lot for games. I have a number of Wii U games that are like 20 gigs or more, like Xenoblade Chronicles X. And when they're like ripped to a hard drive, that's how much they are. They're really big, so they stay on the disc and they don't really live on the system, and that's how it was designed. So it's a physical system. Likewise, the 3DS has physical games, and those physical games are played on the system. The system only shipped with a 4 gigabyte SD card. Luckily, let's bring me to number two. Both of these systems are super hackable and very easy to hack. The newest custom firmware installation for the Wii U is easier than it's ever been. All you need is an SD card, a couple of files that you put on the SD card, and then you navigate with the browser to a specific website, and boom, it'll run the hack for you. And you can install your custom firmware, install things like Nintendo to play GameCube games on your Wii U. In fact, playing GameCube ROMs, you have to actually run the ROMs because the drive does not recognize GameCube games for whatever reason. But because there's like a full compatibility with the Wii, there's also full compatibility with the GameCube. It's kind of interesting. So you can do things like that, and you can make backups of all your games. One of the things I've been doing is taking my discs and putting them on an external hard drive. You can just use any external hard drive with your Wii U. It's great. You don't need something special. You don't need to invest a ton of money. You probably have a backup drive sitting around that you can just plug right in the back and will work. So once you have your custom firmware, you can get digital copies. Don't worry about scratching up your disc. That's very helpful for me because I have little kids, and while my son told me he really enjoys putting the disc into the machine and having the game pop up and play it, there's a chance that you're going to damage the discs. In fact, we had damaged one of my discs before and broken one of my Nintendo 3DS games. And hey, it's helpful to have a digital backup so you can still play the game that you paid for, right? So hacking it will allow you to do that. In the future, if you're watching this somewhere far down the line, that second big reason, hacking, will allow you to acquire DLC through, let's just say, on the high seas, and you'll be able to experience that content even though it's not for sale anymore on the shop. Now, you can debate the ethics of that down below in the comment section. I would love to see some arguments for why you shouldn't pirate DLC, which you are no longer able to buy. But if you're watching this after the shop closes, the community has already been working for a long time on hacking these. They're very stable when they're hacked. They're very easy to manage. They're very easy to create backups on your hard drive or on your SD card. I think I have like a 400 gig SD card on my 3DS, which is great. It can hold all my games. I have a really big 3DS collection, so it's great. So you can acquire them that way, and you're going to be okay. There is one really important game, and that's this one right here, Fire Emblem Fates, that you can't play the whole game without accessing DLC. So if you have this game and you want to get all of the story story paths, you're going to have to buy that this week, or you're going to have to find a backup copy of the special edition or the collector's edition. That's the only physical version of this game that contains all 3 paths. So the way this worked was you bought one. This one's Fire Emblem Birthright. You could also buy Conquest. They're really 2 different games. They have different units, different maps, different stories that kind of are mirrors of each other that reveal a little bit of how the world works. And then there's a third path that you could only get through DLC unless you bought that special edition right when it launched. Good luck finding a physical copy of that for anything less than like $200. It's going to be buku expensive to try to find a copy of that. So if you want to get all 3 of those, just buy the base game, and then you can buy the 2 DLCs for $20 each. That's an $80 investment. Or you can find a used copy. If you have a used copy or you already have a copy of one of them, then you can buy the DLCs. After that cutoff date, there really won't be a legal way, quote, legal way to play it, because there'll be no way to actually buy the DLC in order to complete the story. So that is one that you probably shouldn't wait on if you're really wanting to grab that stuff. But for the most part, if you're wondering like, hey, can I play Bravely Second? That hasn't been ported. Yeah, you could probably find a physical copy for not too much money. Now, the third big reason, which is that if we're being really honest, that fear of missing out, that provokes a little bit of a response in us. And it works on me too. Oh, what am I missing out on? I want to make sure that I have all my games for my Wii U before they turn it off, and I have the option to play all of these unique experiences. The truth is, if you hadn't played the game before now, you're probably not missing out on that much. Most of the unique experiences for these platforms, the really unmissable experiences, have been out for a long time. You've had a long time to play them. And worrying about whether or not you're going to want to play them in the future now, you probably won't. There may be sometime in the distant future where you may want to play them, and they may have ported them to new hardware at that point, or you may be more comfortable just grabbing a copy of the game off of Internet Archive and running, installing it onto your SD card and running it that way. But yeah, chances are you're not actually missing out on that much. There were some really awesome experiences for the Wii U. If you just bought one recently, I'll make some recommendations and some amazing experiences on the 3DS. The thing about the 3DS is that most of the games for the 3DS really are made for the 3DS. They're in 3D. They use that 3D perspective a lot. So you really want to play the games for 3DS on the 3DS. You don't want to worry about ports. But a large percentage of the really good games for the Wii U have already been ported to the Nintendo Switch or to other platforms. So you don't need to panic about getting a bunch of Wii U games. Most of the really good ones have already been ported. So off the top of my head, if you didn't play Breath of the Wild, well, that's a really popular Nintendo Switch game. You can find a used copy for very cheap, I'm sure, for your Nintendo Switch. Zombie U can be played. It's just called Zombie on like the PlayStation platform. You can play Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is available on the Nintendo Switch. Splatoon, the first Splatoon game, is still on the Wii U, but Splatoon 2, which is a very similar game and similar experiences, is on the Nintendo Switch, and Splatoon 3. So most of the experiences, if they haven't been ported, you probably weren't missing out on that much. I'll give you a couple of my very favorites that I think are not likely to leave the platform. I'm going to start with Wii U. So Yoshi's Woolly World. This is a really fun Yoshi game. I think it's better than Yoshi's Crafted World for the Nintendo Switch. My kids and my wife too love this game. It has a great aesthetic with the yarn. The level design is supreme. The music's beautiful. And it's just so much fun to play with your kids. There's a mellow mode that makes it really easy for even my 4-year-old, or she'll be 4 this week. Wow, they grew up. She's 3 right now. She can play the game. She's capable of playing it, or you can turn on like the classic mode and have like a good gaming challenge, similar to a little bit easier than say Yoshi's Island, but challenging and fun enough to do all the collectibles that I think it's enjoyable even for an adult. Really fun thing to play with your kids. Of course, I have a physical copy, but you can buy it on the eShop, and it is unlikely that they will port this. They may port it to another system at some point, but right now it's on the Wii U, and it's something you got to play on the Wii U. So if you have a Wii U and you haven't played Yoshi's Woolly World, and especially if you have kids, you should play those. So, I grabbed Breath of the Wild on accident. I meant to grab Twilight Princess. Anyway, There's Breath of the Wild. You probably can play that on another system. The Wii U version isn't even that good. It doesn't run as good as the Switch version, and it doesn't have any real gamepad support, so I don't think it's essential to play that on Wii U. There are 2 Zelda games, however, that are on the Wii U that you're not going to be able to find elsewhere. I just realized I have the box here. Twilight Princess HD, Wind Waker HD. I think I got this. Is this used, or did I buy it new? Used. I bought a used copy for like $15 or something. I don't know. These are the best ways to play these 2 games, in my opinion. I have the originals on GameCube and Wii. I think the HD versions are a million times better. This one's based on the GameCube version, which most people consider superior actually to the Wii version. The Wii version, everything is mirrored. It's all backwards. So this is the original version. If you played it on the Wii, boy, it's going to be like, not exactly a brand new game, but it'll be a different experience because it'll be as they originally designed it for the GameCube. It looks great. It plays great. This is definitely the best way to play Twilight Princess. It's very sharp and looks great on modern displays. Likewise, this is the best way to play Wind Waker. I think some people took some exceptions to noticing in some lighting situations the geometry of Link rather than keeping the cel-shaded look. But trust me, I think you are gaining a lot more with the HD presentation. It looks sharper throughout. It's just the best way to play these 2 games. And I don't know when or if they'll bring these HD ports over to the Nintendo Switch, but for now they are on the Wii U, and they are really good experiences. And they use the GameCube, the gamepad in some unique ways as well. So those are unique experiences and the best versions of those games, in my opinion. Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. Now you can play this on other platforms, but on the Wii U, you can also play it on the 3DS. So you can actually play co-op with one person sitting next to you on the 3DS and one person playing on the Wii U. Really fantastic. They never did this with any other games that I'm aware of. So it's a completely unique experience to Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, which is a fun game on its own and I think is worth playing. So if you're willing to buy a copy of Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate for 2 different systems, you can play together, and it's pretty fun that way. Now, this one, I really wish they would think about porting it off the system because more people should play it. It's called Xenoblade Chronicles X, or I've heard it also called Xenoblade Chronicles Cross. This one's actually unopened because I play a digital version on my system. One of the advantages of being able to put digital games on your hard drive. But anyway, this is my copy, and there is DLC for this, so you probably want to get the DLC if you want to get the DLC now. It's a pretty fun game if you're a fan of the Xenoblade Chronicles series. You even get to like use a mech towards the end of the game. It's not my favorite aesthetically, but it's really, I don't know, it seems like they're not going to take it off the Wii U. So if you want to have this experience or you want to try this game out, the Wii U is the only place that you're going to be able to get Xenoblade Chronicles X. There are still physical copies out there. Obviously, I have one. But you can get it probably cheaper and easier off the eShop, which is great. Here's another one that's unique to the Wii U, Wonderful 101. I haven't played much of this game, so I don't have a whole lot to say about it other than you can't get it on any other platform. So if you're wanting a game that's specifically for Wii U, you can check out the Wonderful 101. Now, do I have the box in here? Yeah. So Star Fox Guard. You can get this on the eShop. This one's really fun. It came as part of Star Fox Zero. It was a bonus for the Star Fox Zero. Star Fox Zero, I don't recommend. Just play the earlier Star Fox games. They added a bunch of... It made it just like really hard to control. I'm not a fan of Star Fox Zero, but Star Fox Guard is fun. So check that one out, and you can get that one on the eShop. I don't think it even costs that much. So check that one out, and you can have fun with that. And then the last one I'll recommend is... I just grabbed one of them, Skylanders Giants. Yes, Skylanders. So if you are looking to play Skylanders, or you ever think that you have some Skylanders sitting around and a portal of power from when you played it on the Wii or something, the Wii U games, Skylanders Giants and like Swap Force and Imagineers and stuff, they're really fun to play with your kids, or maybe you're a kid watching this. They're fun to play. So the best versions... Fans seem to think the best versions are for the Wii U, so you can grab these. I don't know if you can get them off the eShop, but you can certainly get them in a physical form. And if you get them off the eShop and you have some Skylanders to play with, boom, you can play them. You don't actually have to have a bunch of extra stuff. As long as you have a couple of the little toys, you can play any of the games in the series. It's crazy. So anyway, those are some Wii U recommendations to check out. Obviously, I have them all pretty much in physical. I can't think of too many eShop games that are super unique. You know, I am a fan of the Super Mario 3D World for the Wii U, but you could play it on the Nintendo Switch. I'd probably say New Super Mario Bros. U. I don't know if you can play that one on the Nintendo Switch. You tell me. I have it on the Wii U, and it's a good one as well. So the first-party titles are usually good. On to the 3DS. So Bravely Second. Now, Bravely Default is a really good game that I recommend. This is a weird little sequel. It's not Bravely Default 2. It's Bravely Second. So you can play this one on the 3DS. That's a unique game. Fire Emblem Fates. I talked about that one. The new Super Mario Bros. 2. Okay, this one is very fun on the 3DS, and I haven't seen it ported elsewhere, so that's a good one to grab. Very fun platformer. It's a Mario game. It's good. Chances are you already played it. There's 2 other Fire Emblem games that are stranded on the 3DS that I think are both really worth playing. One is Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia. This one is really fun, and I love the graphical presentation of it. It has a really great challenge to it, like some different branching map paths. It's a lot of fun. Fire Emblem Awakening really is a classic. It has a good story, likable characters, and really fun gameplay. So both of these games, like Fire Emblem Fates, I think are worth playing. They are stranded on the 3DS. Their 3D presentation, I think, is pretty unique. And if they're ported to other platforms, they're going to need a full remaster because the 3D runs at a little bit lower resolution. And you won't have that 3D effect. So you're going to have to change how the game works a little bit. So I think they're worth playing. Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. This one is one of my very favorite 3DS games. It uses the map from A Link to the Past, but tells it's a whole new game with it, a whole new story, whole new bosses and dungeons. A lot of fun, and it uses the 3D effect to great use. And then the last one, which you need 3D to play, Super Mario 3D Land. There's all kinds of things that use the 3D perspective for platforming. It really makes platforming a lot easier because you can gauge depth so much better with the 3D effect on. So grab those. Those are worth buying. Those are my recommendations for, like, these are the experiences to have on the Wii U. These are the really fun games that you should try playing. Other ones, I'm sure there's others. You can leave me your recommendations down below in the comments section. But those are the ones that are great. And I'm here to tell you, don't panic. You can find physical copies. You can play backups. You can hack your systems. And chances are you're not missing out on all that much anyway. There's also a Sonic game, Sonic Lost World. It's actually pretty fun. I don't have a physical copy of that. I only have a digital copy. But you can buy it on the eShop much cheaper than you can get a physical copy right now. It's only $40 on the eShop versus, like, who knows, like $80 for a physical copy. So if you're wanting to complete your Sonic collection, that's one that doesn't seem to be ported off, but I imagine one day we'll probably leave the system as well. So don't panic. Most of those games, the developers will be like, hey, we haven't ported Sonic Lost World. Let's put that on the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation. So I imagine a lot of these will be ported forward to newer systems simply because they're sitting there waiting to be sold and to make more money. And if the eShop disappears, you're not collecting any more money on the games. So I imagine a lot of publishers will move them forward onto other platforms in the coming months and years. So take it easy, guys. Leave me your thoughts down below. What are the unmissable games for this? And have you hacked your systems yet? Because I really recommend you do it. If you're wondering how to do it, it's actually pretty easy. There's a lot of guides there. Hacks, Wii U.hacks.guide, I think is what it is. I'm going to check it right now. Yeah, Wii U.hacks.guide. That will tell you how to hack your Wii U, and it's really not a hard process. If you're wanting a video guide, Blaine Locklear's YouTube channel has some great and very easy to follow video guides that will tell you what you need to do to hack your system to get custom firmware on it and do all the things you want to do, run emulators and all that other kind of stuff. In my opinion, before I go, the Wii U is the best Nintendo system for emulation of just playing everything that came before it. With RetroArch, you can run Super Nintendo on back. You can play Nintendo 64 games on this. You can run GameCube games like natively. In fact, GameCube games look really good on this system. It's the best way to play GameCube games on an HD system. Plus, it plays Wii games, full Wii support, and then Wii U games. It has a huge game library when you put it all into perspective. But you have to take the time to do a little work. But it's not that hard. Put some custom firmware on it. Then you can start playing your GameCube games with Nintendo and have a great time with that. So have a great one, and I will see you all next time.